And our guest today is someone who is actually close to my heart, who I've always felt like a great energy from, someone I enjoy, someone who I actually really smile when I see you. Just because you, like, even your hair is always on point. Like, I really appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen.
Well, that's nice. Torrei Hart here in the building.
So that's the thing. And I don't know why we put that space in between us. Like, why are we not
Because
closer?
Stubborn, and men tend to be stubborn. I'm trying to learn not to be stubborn. I didn't want to get out of my chair because this is my chair. No, so why don't you get out of your chair?
I would have. Why didn't we have Torrei sit in the middle? I just don't understand.
You're not attached to your chair.
Yo,
Torrei, do you want to slide
Are
over?
we moving?
Let's slide.
Yeah, let's slide Torrei over.
Don't even slide the chair.
Tehran has won many battles.
Right.
Throw that chair.
I won the war.
George,
I got
throw
the
that chair. Okay.
I got the chair, bro. Yeah.
Now we feel. I feel like way better
remained.
right now because Torrei's in the building. If you don't know, thank you, Martin, for giving us the thumbs up. Should have been on top of that, buddy. First day. It's Martin's first day again. So this is the thing about it all is that if you don't know Torrei's a comedian,
yes,
actress.
Yes.
Didn't you just do a movie? Didn't you just come off something?
I just did a project called, shit, I'm having a brain fart, but with Damon Dash as executive producer and creator, me, Columbus Short, Claudia Jordan.
Okay, let's.
A few other D-listers.
Why don't you just drop a couple more names?
We all fucking D-listers at this point, so it doesn't even matter until we reach the A-list. But yeah, that, and then I did another project. It's another D-list project, but it's all good. It's working my way to the A-list.
I have a question for you about in regards to the film, right? So you are a comic.
Mm-hmm.
In modern day, we would also call you a personality to some extent. So now when you build your own brand, you're a comic personality. Is it more difficult when you're asked to be a character in someone's project, to transform into someone else when you're so established for you?
Actually, no, because I started off as an actress, so that's like easy for me.
So you had the background.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I was thinking, like, if you did the inverse, right, where the reverse of that, where someone like Tehran, who started as Tehran, he was born Tehran, because we know he's Tehran because he says it a million times a day.
Yeah.
It's on his shirt, it's on his hat, it's on his robe. So I noticed, Tehran and I had this discussion where it's more difficult for him to transform into a character because he's so used to being him.
Well, they would just want him for him anyway. So he wouldn't necessarily have to like transform so much unless he's trying to go for an Oscar or something. But I mean, they're going to love you just for you. I mean, you made me wear this today. Because I was like, Tehran's always wearing a robe. I got to come dressed as some type of...
But you did. You came so...
Fly. I love the outfit.
So
you're always dressed well, actually. You dress very well. That's like a thing. Are you into style?
Honestly, not really. I mean, some days I'm hit or miss. So today my girlfriend made this and I haven't had a chance to wear it yet, and it was hanging. I was cleaning up the dog shit and I seen it and I was like, let me put it on.
How do we find her on Instagram?
TORREIHART.
And how do we find you on Instagram? That's you?
Tehran?
No. So I wanted to know the friend who made that, how to find herself.
How do I got confused. This is Angel Brinks.
Angel Brinks.
You probably know her. I think she's Lebanese too.
Oh, yeah.
All the Lebanese people should know each other.
Angel Brinks is ANGELBRINKS.
Because I just wanted to give her a plug because the outfit's amazing. And now, now we know your Instagram too. Because I was like, isn't that your name?
Oh, yeah. I thought that's what you wanted.
And here's the thing. Being an industry insider, right? Where are you from originally?
Philadelphia.
Now, let's all put that in perspective. And if you aren't aware of Torrei Hart, all of you actually do know Torrei simply because of your relationship. It's like you have a famous relationship.
Yeah, I have a famous ex-husband.
Yeah, it's famous. But the relationship itself is famous, too. It's a famous relationship.
We had a public divorce.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you don't know, I'm referring to Kevin Hart. But this is why Torrei's on, not because of the Kevin Hart aspect, but because you know what it takes to have a relationship in the industry.
Yeah.
And that's something that we, as men, we need to learn from someone who's been in that situation as a female and get your perspective on what we do wrong and what do the women do wrong as well. You know?
What do men do wrong?
Oh, we do everything wrong.
You don't do everything wrong, but majority of the time it is men. I mean, I can only speak from my personal experience. I would say infidelity has been the biggest thing for me. But as far as that is about it, I've only dealt with infidelity.
Because I'm having an issue where I have girls they want to hang out, and I'm like, I don't have hangout time. Like it's nothing personal. I just don't have time to hang out. And that has been the number one problem that I've been facing, because I feel like the girls.
We hung out all of Sunday. we were out.
And I've seen you at a few places just chilling.
But they're comedy related places. I
saw you at the Pretty Little Thing.
Because it's a networking event. Like it's one of those events. Like look at all the people that I got to.
Well, that's true, because I'm here because of us seeing.
Exactly.
There you go. Okay.
We reconnected there. Like I see you at comedy places for the most part, and then I saw you at the Pretty Little Things event, which obviously I wasn't there for me. But you introduced me to, of all people, Carl Kanai, for example.
Oh yeah, that's my homie.
Yeah, who's become like a really good friend of mine.
Okay.
I lied. I texted him and he ghosted me. He didn't even respond. He didn't even respond to my text.
So we have two things we both said, which are monumental things in relationship: fidelity or infidelity.
Yeah, infidelity.
And then time or being busy.
Yeah.
So when you're in a situation where you're busy, does that subject you to more infidelity? And you being an entertainer yourself, so being preoccupied with entertainment, you're busy with entertainment, now you're around good-looking people, successful people. Does that make you more subjected to want to taste what's out there?
You talking to me? Or?
Yeah, I'm asking you.
Oh, it has in the past. I mean, but you have to have self-control too, because you don't want to be known as the whore of the industry. So, you have to be wise, because everything's connected. So you can't be just bopping around with this person and that person. You got to be really, really smart. It's actually better not to fuck with anybody, because you get more that way.
We have a really good friend, Crystal Marie. And
I love her.
Yeah, Crystal's amazing.
Did her show.
She's like, exactly, at the Laugh Factory. Yeah. And with Crystal said something to me once on this show, actually, where she explained, when it comes to fidelity in the business, it's not like you're in Idaho and you're cheating. Yeah. You're around other alphas. You're around other top of the lot, cream of the crop, big fish. And you are just, it's a shop for men and women. Everyone's looking around because you're around that kind of energy. Yeah. So how do you find fidelity in that situation?
Well, you have to find somebody you really gel with, and you got to find somebody that you can build with together, and it makes sense. Like, I mean, I'm dating somebody who it makes sense. You know what I mean? And the sex is amazing. He's smart. He helps me with my writing. I help him with his stuff. So it makes sense.
I love how you put the sex is amazing before everything else. Like, you threw that out first.
I don't. If you got a little dick, I'm not fucking with you. That's just what it is. You got to have great sex. You cannot have a little dick. I don't fuck with little dick men. So that's just not going to happen. So I'm a very sexual person, so I need that.
You need that energy, but
I need it.
Do you think that energy helps you focus?
Yeah, because we can create. We can have sex and then we'll go create. That's why it has to be the right person. Like, I'm not just out here just fucking everybody. Nobody. I probably can say 2 men out here can say they've slept with me.
That's real.
Yeah. So, and I was married to one of them. So, you just have to be smart. You just got to make the right decision, and you got to fill things out. But I mean, I personally feel like it can work if it just makes sense. Out here, it has to make sense.
What counts as infidelity?
Not doing stuff and the other person not knowing. I mean, if you're going to do something, like, be honest. The woman, like, I'm a very open-minded woman. I actually like the Muslim faith myself. Like, you have another wife, whatever. If you can afford it, like, I'm not really a stickler for that, but I am a stickler on lying. So if you lie to me, that's infidelity. Like, don't lie to me. Point blank, period.
So it's not more so about the action as it is about the transparency.
It's the betrayal behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm old. I done been through all of that shit. Like, honestly, that kind of
I'm gonna defend you. You're not really, that old. I'm gonna be real. Let's be real.
No, I mean, in Hollywood,
you've had experience.
Yeah, I have experience. I mean, I'm okay. I recently just turned 40. I don't give a fuck since I turned 40. Like, everything has changed. Mental state. Like, so now
40 black do not crack.
Yeah, but I mean, I just look at things completely different. So just don't lie to me. Don't have me looking like a fool.
That's real.
If you have sex with somebody, that don't mean you're gonna, it's an act. It's not that serious.
What I like hearing now is your conviction, and there's a certain piece that comes with experience that I'm hearing you have. and you're bold enough to say exactly what you want, how you want it.
Yeah.
And I see that as another complication towards fidelity because people aren't vocal enough or confident enough to communicate what they're actually feeling. There's a lot of fears, societal fears that they have, so they hold back, they don't communicate it, and next thing you know, they're sneaking around because they're too scared to sit down and have a discussion with you. The same way my first girlfriend should have told me she wanted to have sex with twin brothers.
You have a twin?
No, they weren't me.
Oh, damn. Wait, so she just did it?
She just went ahead and did it.
Well, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. Most men aren't going to allow that type of thing 100%. To happen. Yeah, it's usually, if you notice, even with polygamy and all the, the other megamies, whatever, it's usually the man who gets to be the top dog. So, if she felt that way, she should have just been single. Most women, if that's how they're feeling, it's probably best to just be single. Unless you're into polygamy and all the other stuff. That's why it is around, because there are a lot of people who is into it. They don't admit to it, but it's out there. That's why there's a word for it and there's a culture for it.
And you know what? I forgive her because maybe all along she just wanted to communicate that and was too shy to. So she did what she needed to do.
How did you find out?
And I'm over it. This is kind of crazy, but
don't do this, Torrei.
I had a dream. That she was cheating.
Okay.
So I asked her a question, which led to the next dream. It was like the questions that she wasn't answering were being answered in my subconscious, in my dreams, and I pieced together the whole story.
I told George that she was a hoe.
I'm a Libra.
Oh, okay.
I told George she was a hoe.
You told him?
And he was like mad at me. And then
I said, don't call my girl that.
He said, don't. I was like, yo, she not your girlfriend. She everybody friend, bro.
Yeah.
So then he was like mad at me. So then he went and had a dream that night that we had a conversation about his girl. He had a dream. And in this dream, he was like, I think subconsciously he pieced together clues. Okay? Because then he woke up like, hit me and was like, yo, I think X is cheating on me.
Yeah.
And I was like, nigga, I told you that. And then he went and had a conversation with her.
And she admitted
No, she didn't admit it.
Oh.
She kept not admitting it until finally he waterboarded her in a way.
What is waterboard?
That's when you mental waterboard someone. When you waterboard someone, it's when they have terrorists in Guantanamo
What
Bay.
is this dude talking about?
Waterboard them, right? But when George does is he mentally waterboards you. He asks you deceiving questions that you end up answering in a truthful manner, even though you're trying to lie.
I want to know the question you asked for her to say, I slept with twins, because
she said, he was like, what you do yesterday? Knowing the answer, right? So then it started from there, because she said she was at the mall, but she was really at homeboy's house, right?
Okay.
He's like, oh, you at the mall? Did you see her friend? And she was like, yeah, I saw her friend. And then the friend had already talked to George, and George had known that she didn't go. So it was like he started down that rabbit hole where she kept backpedaling.
In my defense, this mental waterboarding, I don't like the term.
But it's the term. It's the term.
When I asked the direct approach so many times, I gave her benefit of the doubt.
Because George is a lover. George has never cheated on a girl.
I saw that it wasn't working.
So
George has never cheated. He's never cheated. And on top of that, he dated this girl for George has broken up with more girls because he didn't have sex because he felt like he didn't know them enough yet. More girls
my
have
body
dumped
count
him.
is low like you.
Okay.
All right.
Girls have literally
count.
dumped him because he's like, hey, I don't think we're ready to take that step because we don't know each other. And a girl dumped, several girls have broken up with him.
Oh,
and we talk. I'm like, well, and he's like, well, then we were never going to know each other. Like, he's that guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he cares.
I think it sucks, though, because, shit, did you sleep with your girlfriend?
One of them I did not.
No, the girl who slept with the twins.
That one,
no.
I plead the fifth.
Okay.
Yes. So listen, that was his first. It was his first girlfriend. It was his first.
It was my first. See, the thing is,
and he took. Look, I'm gonna tell you why. Because he took back his virginity after she cheated.
Yeah, that's all. See, I kind of reclaimed my virginity
because he felt.
Yeah, I became a board. That's why I don't want to say it. But
when we in high school, he was like, "I'm gonna be a virgin till marriage."
Yeah.
And then he was like, "I'm gonna marry this girl." And then he was like, "I'm in love with her. I'm gonna marry this girl." And then she convinced him that it was like, since they're going to be together, it doesn't matter in the eyes of the Lord. Like, it was a conversation.
In my eyes.
And he really...
In my eyes, she was future wife. I was in lines with the Bible.
Yeah. George's dad is a pastor.
George, that's so sweet. Yeah. I come from a very spiritual family. I have like 3 aunts who were pastors, 2 uncles ministers. It's all bullshit, though. Just get out of that whole religious thing. Religion is a trap. Get out of it.
It's interesting you say that. I actually, look, I'm not specifically a religious person myself, right?
I'm spiritual. I'm done with religion.
And I respect that. But if religion is used well and used for positivity, I think it's a great thing. It's when people corrupt the word of the religion and they focus on the worst parts. Like, the entire Bible, for example, is about love and acceptance and tolerance and understanding and compassion. And then one line will be like, well, we don't really kind of like gays. And they'd be like, that's it. No gays and Jews and niggers. So you're like, wait, no, whoa. Wait, that's not what that says. That's not what that line says. And then just like, how did you take that leap? One line in the Quran will be violent and they'll just fixate on that part. So if religion is used positively, I've seen people whose lives have been affected in a positive way because of religion. And I have a lot of respect for that. I have respect for that. And I can understand a part of me that feels that way. Yeah. But the other part of me is like, I wish I had this much faith in anything.
Well, you can. I mean, but I don't think you need a book to dictate your faith. I think, you walk and it's the universe, it's the energy, it's the creator. Because it's just like I was listening to Bill Burr the other day, and he was saying something, and it made sense because I was like, damn. Yeah, he's when brilliant. He was like the conception, religion and Mary, this woman immaculately got, pregnant, and then she has a child that can walk on water. Like, it's a story. I mean, and so many people really do believe that story. So to me, yes, it's a book. It was man-made. It was written. If that's what you need to survive and get through what you need to get through, then so be it, if that helps you. But I think going through things in life and really just having faith in yourself and believing in yourself to get through anything, you're going to get through it anyway.
I feel like I'm going to church right now. I like what you're saying.
Because I look, okay, so for instance, my family, and love them to death, but like I said, ministers and pastors, and they tried to stop me from moving to LA. They were like, that's the devil's playground. And I'm like, you're trying to stop me from living a dream. How is it the devil's playground? Because where in the Bible does it say it's Sodom and Gomorrah? I'm like, no, it's not. It's Hollywood. That's where dreams are made. Like, how dare you try to stop me? So I have this issue where I'm like, but you guys are all back here calling me for shit. So don't tell me not to come to Hollywood and follow my dreams based off of a book. Like, so that's just my issue. I'm just... I'm more of a kind of like I'm a hot Gandhi type girl or a Buddha.
I completely understand that, but I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. Like, if you believe the Immaculate Conception, more power to you. I don't know. If there was a man who walked on water, I don't know. I believe anything is possible, and these stories may be stories, they may be fables, they may be metaphors, they may be the exact word. I don't know. So I never looked down on anyone that have these beliefs or feel that way, because good for you, as long as it doesn't affect me. As long as you don't try to transcribe your set of beliefs onto me and tell me that I need to think the exact same thing. Yeah. I say more respect. And you know what? If you're right, more power to you.
Well, I don't know. I just know I go with what I feel. I used to do, you grew up in what type of church?
Presbyterian.
Okay, I grew up in a Baptist church, and so we were in church a lot.
Well, I'm familiar with the Baptist church because I worked at a Baptist church for 4 years, so I went to services there. So I know all about that.
Okay, so you understand, being the shut-ins and, you got to cast the devil out, and, it's just so much. So I don't know. My mind has evolved more since just living out in LA and coming across different people, of different mindsets.
I agree with you. I have the same line of thought, and I want to repeat something that the Dalai Lama said at my school, which is University of Maryland. Okay. He said, different religions are like different medications. You could use different medications to achieve the same cure.
Very true.
And you could do that with religion. And
that's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, and although I was raised in the church, the new thought I'm embracing is church can be the answer, but there are other answers too. They can all be the answer. They could all be the answer. And I do believe we all have a source, which is light, love, God, infinite love, whatever you want to call it, that we all find our way of connecting to. and I respect all people for their personal connection. I do want to emphasize, though, personal connection. That's, to me, what it all boils down to. You get that personal connection going. It's no knock at religion, but to me, that's a priority when I think of God, is that personal connection to the source. And I was really vibing with some of the things you were saying, I got to admit.
Well, because I'm the same way with personal connection. Like I meditate and I pray every day. I tap into the light, you know, and I just try to focus on that versus focusing on a book that was written BC how many years ago?
Actually, it's only 2000. Like, actually, it's like 1400. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of people was like, it wasn't written a long time. It was like the Old Testament was written like 4,000 years ago. Okay. And then the New Testament was written something about less than 2,000 years ago.
Yeah, Torrei, only 4,000. Only 4,000
you know, I'm
years.
Well,
in the history of man, that's not a long time. And in the history of this planet, it's not. It's a blink. It's not even a blink of the eye. So why did it come
so late? Like, why did it, you know, if this is... Why did it come so late?
Well, to play the advocate, the devil's advocate on that situation, you could always say, because it is not the logic of man that dictates God. And what that means is, even though we anthropomorphize God and we always try to make God more like morphize. Anthropomorphize is when you make something.
Somebody's got a degree.
Like a couple, which just cost me a lot of money. Okay. But the concept of anthropomorphization is that you take something that's not human and you add human attributes to it. So what we do with our dogs, or what we do with plants or cars, we also do with our God, which is we make God human, when God, in the nature of God, is not human. What does that mean? That means that we as human beings are unable and incapable of understanding the logic of God. The same way that we know televisions exist and we might not know how TVs work, but we could probably understand it if someone explained it to us in layman's terms, but you could never explain that to an ant.
Yeah.
And though an ant exists and televisions also exist in the same plane of reality, the ant can never understand or comprehend the logic of a television. We'll multiply that by the infinite, and now we have the logic of God over the man. And so when we ask questions like, well, why did this happen like this? And why, if there is a God, why do people die? It's because as a man, we don't understand the logic. We can't understand the concept of infinity the same way we are unable to understand the concept of zero. And so while the universe is made and created by the hands of God, and we feel as men and women, we are in the image of God, we are not God. We are not omniscient, and we're not omnipresent.
And I respect your answer. And there's another answer to that same question, which is in Hinduism, which in their religion say
like 20 gods, right?
It's monotheistic, polytheistic versus monotheistic. But they also say that their religion predates history. So it's a thought, it's a consciousness that has always been there. And some of their consciousness was put to book before the Torah or the Bible or the Quran. They had a god named Brahma, who was creator of earth. So to answer your question in a different form, you could say that, hey, maybe some of these stories were there before and they were modified and remodified.
True.
I'm not saying that's the final answer. I'm just saying that's another way to answer.
That's a theory. That's another theory. I mean, because it's all theory when you think about it.
Everything's a theory.
Yeah.
Everything's a theory.
Yeah.
And the fact that we feel like we can be monogamous relationships is a theory. And then going back to the monogamy in a relationship.
He's in a monogamy. He practices monogamy. So,
and I would say that George is a serial monogamist. So while he's always in a monogamous relationships, and he's very picky, he's also...
What's up with all the labels today? Verbal, waterboarder, serial monogamy. What else am I?
Overall good person.
Aww.
So sweet. He's like a teddy bear.
Exactly. And because he's a teddy bear, I'm like, George, sometimes you need to realize the value that you bring to a relationship and not just always valuing the girl more. Because George is I'll put you first.
Yeah, well, I like that.
Well, of course, because you're on the other side. But what if it hurts you?
But make sure it's a good woman.
And it's exactly
because women will take advantage.
Exactly.
So you do have to definitely make sure, because I feel like you're just like a little teddy bear. So you definitely have to.
Did you just emasculate me in the air?
No, in a good way. In a good way. Like,
okay,
like you're just
everybody
like,
wants to sleep with a little teddy bear.
Yeah, like
but no one wants to fuck a little teddy bear. You know
No. If you find somebody who loves you and respects you and just, honors you, then yes, they will.
There you go.
And I think that's what you're missing. I mean, if your girlfriend, that's horrible. She did that, but I can see where.
Let it go, Torrei. He's gonna look. He's smiling right now. He's not gonna be okay for the rest of the day.
Soft spot.
Yo, this is not 5 years ago. This is like.
It's like recent.
12, 14 years ago.
I'm still dealing. I'm still dealing with it.
This is when he was like 15.
I'm still dealing with it, so I got a therapy dog.
Wait, this was 15.
This was in high school. This was not
in high school.
In high school, yeah.
Yo, this is in high school. This isn't like.
Oh, I thought this.
He's still bringing this up. Like,
well, I mean, that's his history.
They were dating for a month. Let me explain something,
bro.
Bro.
It was 5 months,
Yo,
bro.
Let me explain something. No,
and she was my wife.
They were together for 4 months. Okay, let me explain. Let me explain the cheated on. By the way, okay. Let me explain what happened. She didn't hook up with these guys when they were actually dating.
Okay,
she hooked up with them before he understood that they were actually dating. He thought from the time that he liked her that they were together.
I said, "Will you be my girlfriend?" She said yes.
Okay, and she said, like, it was like on some, because that was George, right?
Okay.
So George was just on his like life, like, I've been watching you and I like you and I have a crush on you. Are you using the same
voice on me that you use on Martin?
Yo, it's the real. And then he goes, and then she like, oh, okay. And then they didn't see each other until like the school year started.
Okay.
And she had like done that in summer. Anyway, it's just hashing up. And I'm just like, bruh. And he's talking to me and I'm like, my dude, I got this basketball practice right now. I gotta go.
Yeah. Thanks for being there, Tehran.
Yo, George knows better. Call me when you have real problems.
Well, you can't tell people when to get over their hurt. Okay.
100%.
Sensitivity, but
100%.
I do think.
So
it's
you
time,
think it's healthy?
It's time.
You can't tell people when to get over her, but you need to let it go.
You said it in a much.
You need to let it go.
Let that shit go.
You said it in a much kinder way than Tehran did. So I think I'm going to listen to you, and I'm going to take your advice. I'm going to work. That was encouraging. That wasn't destructive.
Yeah.
Sometimes people mean well.
Stop being a little bitch, George.
In a destructive way.
That's the most encouragement I can give you, bruh.
You haven't found love since then?
I believe I have. It's just the hurt. The hurt doesn't disappear.
It's not the love. It's the pain that he hasn't been hurt.
I had a public divorce. I done been. So I'm like, fuck you, nigga. Life is too short. You gotta let that shit go.
Wow.
You just gotta let it go.
You're completely healed?
I am completely healed.
But you're also healing. You talk about this stuff on stage.
I do. I talked about how now, I mean, I will say this much, it does change you in a sense, because I'm a very sweet love. Like, I put people first too, so I had to, notice that about myself. I put everybody before me. I don't do that shit no more. Now it's about me. It's my time. And that's what it is.
To an extent. You're also a very giving person.
Queen, yo.
Well, yeah, but
you're a loyal person.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you how I know, because your friends are people you've been friends with for very many years. You don't have LA friendships. Even the comics that you're cool with are people who you've known for many, many years. Like you and I connected, but it wasn't like, I know when LA friendships happen, and there are people who are like, oh, I want to get on shows, or can you? And you weren't like that at all, which is why I've always really engaged with you.
Well, you still ain't put me on a show, though.
No,
you better put her on.
You still ain't put me on a show.
You better put my life coach. She's
let's also
my life
remember
coach.
You were
She's
out of
my
town,
girl.
and then you did Crystal's show.
I did go out of town. Yeah.
So let's not. When I was like, okay, and you were like, I'm out of town.
You will put my guru and my life coach on your show.
I
will have a show with Torrei Hart because I actually find her very funny and engaging on stage. And it has nothing to do with the fact that there's nothing like I need from Torrei. And that's the difference in LA friendships, is because people will do stuff because they need something from you.
Yeah. And you know what? Here's the good thing about that. It's at least you're needed. Like, I try to look at the positive of that, versus
that's deep.
At least, they see value in you. Because there's a lot of people out here who ain't got nothing going on. So, look at it from a positive perspective. And then, you make sure it's an even exchange of energy. So if they need something from you, at least make sure you're getting something back from them.
I like that because when I've had my hot streaks in the industry, and when it first happened, people were reaching out and I was a little turned off by it. Like, you just want to come up. Yeah. But then what happens when your hot streak ends and nobody's hitting you up? You start missing that and you start realizing, hey, that's a natural life process. When you're hot, when you're on your street,
you're gonna gravitate.
People, they're gravitating not only to be popular, but they're gravitating because you may have a talent, a gift from God, a tool, something they see shining that they appreciate, and that's why they're coming. And once I understood that, I got a lot more comfortable with collaborating with people because we've all been burned in collaborations and relationships many years ago that still affect us to this day. But we need to wake up and say, hey, that was one instance. And even if it was 100 instances, that was 100 instances. There are 7 billion people on earth. And you're bound to find that one collaboration partnership that's a positive one that is going to work. Numbers don't lie. Jay said it best. And if numbers don't lie, then statistically, I'm bound for something good to happen. So it's like having a positive outlook. But to mix in what you say, the trick is to put yourself first. I love what you said about putting yourself first. And if we remind ourselves, we are taught to love laws, to love systems, to love other people. But very seldomly are we taught to love ourselves. And this is a systematic oppression. Now, I don't want to sound too much like Kanye West here. Okay. But I see his point about self-love when he speaks. And it's and what I call ultimate form of self-love is loving the subconscious. So there's a person inside of us that wants to be put first. That is, and I'd call that person, the person, same voice inside of you is like, I'm a comedian. I'm going to stand up and I'm going to move to LA and I'll become a comedian. The same subconscious voice that was in Toronto. It was there all along. It was just suppressed by doing things we thought we had to do or being told otherwise. And once we listen to yourself, these are my words of the week, by the way. Okay. That is the ultimate self-love that we embrace. And I am so for what you said. Putting yourself first means loving yourself. And if we remember to do that, we will make it through this journey called life a lot easier.
And everything will work out. It always
or
does.
not. There's a lot of homeless people. All right,
they chose that path.
I don't know. See, that's crazy to think because a lot of times people don't choose that path.
Well, you know what? I take that back. You're right because I did just do. I just hosted a benefit on Saturday for Hope Light House, and it's for homeless people that are transitioning, and some people were born into it, but some people do choose to stay in that situation.
See, I think it's interesting because even when it comes to something like homelessness, people need to understand sometimes mental illness plays a big part in that, where there's no one. It's very easy when you have family or friends or people to take care of you. What if you do not? Second of all, a lot of us in Hollywood are one step away from being homeless. And third of all, the concept is that when it comes to homeless people, some people are conditioned into it, meaning if you were raised, if my parents were criminals, then I might have become a criminal. If my parents, it's the same way that when you talk to someone in New York, they have an accent from New York. And if you talk to someone from Atlanta, they have an accent from Atlanta. You're programmed into that. So some people are programmed into failing or homelessness. And it's something that I feel a lot of times privilege, and white privilege especially, doesn't always see. Is that sometimes it's not just enough to walk in someone else's shoes, a mile in someone else's shoes, but you have to walk with their legs and their training on how to walk. And now let's see how far you get.
Well, that's why I just give back by hosting the event, because that's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot. I mean, but I'll give my time.
Yeah,
I'll do that.
I told my mom this Mother's Day I had a special.
Yeah, I'm not letting people move into my house. I'm just saying.
I've done that. I can't tell you how many people I've housed. Yeah. So I'm housing somebody right now. My nephew, but he's family. But I mean, I've housed a lot of people.
But he's homeless. Like he's homeless, but you let him.
No, he's not homeless. I mean, he's my nephew. I'll never let him be homeless. But you know, I'm taking care of him. But he's 20 years old. But he's my nephew, so I have to. But I've done it for other people who's been following their dreams, because I like to see people following their dreams. if you came to LA and you're following a dream, then, and if you can lay on my couch for a few months, then whatever. I'm blessed enough to not have to do it. So save some money, you know what I'm saying? Do it. So long as you're still working and pursuing your dream. Now, if I see you just being lazy, playing video games all day, then you're getting out. But if I see you still hustling and trying to make a name for yourself, and most of the people who have slept on my couch are now doing great. Just
Can I sleep on your couch, please? I need to become
Maybe you
successful.
have a magical couch.
Yeah.
No, it's just, I
Kevin Hart slept on that couch. Like, maybe I need to sleep on that couch.
And he actually did.
Yo, that's real.
On the couch in the beginning.
That's real. Yeah.
When we got together, we were young, and I was working, and he was the one chasing dreams first. And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's the real thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you're in this industry relationship, okay, so one of the challenges we found was fidelity. Yeah. What's another challenge that you feel like in industry relationships people would need to overcome? Because I told you about my priority thing, and actually as we were talking, someone hit me up, hey, can we want to hang out later? And I'm like, I don't think you understand what I do.
Well, what are you going to do later?
What I'm going to do after this is I'm going to go do a podcast. Then I'm going to do a filming. Then I'm going to go and do a show at 7:30 and then another one at 10. All this. And then when I get home, I'm not going to get to hang out and go to sleep. I'm working on a script. So, and I have to turn that in. And I have the NBC thing coming up this Friday that I have to practice for somehow and squeeze in time and get ready for. So I don't have time to just hang out. Right?
So why don't you tell her to come and support you at your show if she wants to hang out?
You know what it is? When it comes to going to the show, especially as a comedian, I don't like it when someone, even my family members, don't come to shows, especially multiple shows. I'm going to work. Okay. And when you go to work, you don't want to, I'm going to work. No one goes, hey, you want to come to work with me today? And I don't want you there. Especially I'm on stage, I'm creating this universe, and I don't want you there to remind me of the real world that I come from. Like I'm creating this reality that I've created.
You know what? I honestly understand that 100% because I'm the same way. I kind of, when I do my shows, I like to be by myself, unless it's with my guy, because like I said, he's a writer, and so he helps me.
Exactly.
And he's watching me, and he's just like, we could put this here, or he sees my performance, and then he gives me feedback.
And gives you tags and tells you.
Yeah. So,
but here's what happens when someone who's not in the industry, they come along to your event or your show. They're expecting, in a normal dating standard, to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
So when you're on stage, you're performing for everybody, not them. In their mind, they're thinking, oh, I'm on a date with this person. And then afterwards, you have to socialize, which is why I asked your definition of infidelity, and I like your answer. It was more about honesty than it was the action. Sometimes, like you and Tehran, in order to come onto the show, y'all had to exchange numbers. Guess what? There are many insecure men out there who wouldn't be cool with their entertainer girlfriend meeting a guy in a bathrobe with a long beard and giving their phone number away.
Why'd you make it sound like I was Dumbledore? And they're like,
more like Papa Smurf. Yeah. So it's kind of like, it's a thing. You can't. Yeah. It's difficult, and he's there to work. He's there to perform. He's there to pursue his career. Now they may be working a 9 to 5, so now they're clocked out of work. They're not at work. It's harder to understand.
Yeah, because they clocked out. I don't clock out. I don't have a clock out. When you work on Destiny, you don't have a clock out. I don't have time to indulge. Yeah. And you're right about they want to be treated like, why didn't you sit next to me? Why didn't you hold my hand? Like, bitch, I'm at work. I'm working. I'm working. In the music industry, I know it doesn't look like work, but parties are work. Yeah. Shows are work.
I would say for you, you're going to know when that person, because that one person is going to slow you down, and she's going to fit right into your life. And it's going to be, no, she's not going to expect anything. You guys go out. She's going to still let you be you and do you. And that'll be the person. I mean, and you'll know when you find that person, so.
Or they want to talk about feelings. I'm about to go up on stage. Do you like me? Like, yo, I got to go, bro. Like, you know what? I liked you until you asked me. What's wrong? There was nothing wrong until you asked me what was wrong. Like, I'm focused on the stage. I'm on the stage. I'm going here. I need to be in a good mood. I need to go do this. This is what I'm looking at. I'm not looking at trying to figure this out right now. Because I didn't come to LA to date you. That's not what I'm here for.
Yeah.
I'm here. My priority is my career. That is my priority. And that's something that I feel like, because I don't even have time to cheat on you, to be honest. And if I do, it's going to be out of convenience and not out of feelings or emotions. It's going to be because I'm just in the mood and this person serves that need
in that moment.
And that's it.
That's why I was saying, I don't really put sticklers on. Like if you slept with somebody, it shit happens all the time. It's no biggie.
Yeah.
But it's just the deceit and the lies behind it. So, but I mean, in the same breath, if you find somebody who fits into your lifestyle, then,
It's hard though. Like it's hard to find a girl who understands these things. And on top of that, the concept of clocking out, like George said, like you clocked out. I'm not clocked out. I'm working.
And that includes if I'm on the gram liking someone's photo, maybe I'm liking their photo because I need to connect with them because we have a mutual industry vehicle that we're using and I need to connect with that person. And that's where the lines get a little blurry to people who are outside this game, when in reality, everything is work. The clothes you're wearing, okay? When you go home, the things you're watching. Are you watching Breakfast Club to keep up with what's happening in the industry? That's a form of work. There's so many things we do to stay up, to work, that other people don't conceptualize, and it results in them being upset.
Well, if you're liking a picture, just make sure it's not no titty pictures or.
I feel like half of them
are. All of them. Listen, when I'm on Instagram, it's like what? Sometimes I'm like, yo, why is this just porn?
Yeah,
like I'm liking titty pictures. It's like, who's that? It's actually my mom. My mom have these pictures, and I gotta like them. Like, sheesh. Yeah. So it's not like
I told my dude, I don't. That's one thing. You don't like no bitch's picture that fucking ain't related to work. If it looks, I don't play that shit. I'm sorry.
I can understand, but do you think that's a form of expression because of your past relationship and what happened with that?
No, it's just boundaries. It's because if you have a problem with me liking somebody's picture, like if I see a guy greased up, chest all like, if I like that, a guy is going to, she liked that picture. It's
I don't even look at to see what girls like. So what's funny? I wouldn't have any problems with that personally at all.
But you don't. But
yeah,
there's
I do
some
not.
people who do. Or if you go to somebody's page, you could be following the same person and you see your significant other's name pop up under liked or something, and is so it's just certain things out of respect.
My thing is when it's when someone's in the you already know that's what we got next going. Yeah, the whole crew's in here coming in next actually.
Okay.
The concept is I don't have a problem. The only time I'll have a problem, like if you are gonna give someone time, please make sure it's not someone that I know, because girls don't often understand this. In guy world, the worst thing you can do to another guy is get their girl. Like when rappers talk trash, they like, I killed you, I stabbed you. Yeah. No. What's the worst thing a rapper has ever done to her? That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. The best diss line of all time was a simple statement. That's why I fucked your bitch, you fat motherfucker. And it wasn't that he was fat or a motherfucker. It was the fact that he said, I fucked your bitch. And we still talk about it. Yeah. 20 some years later, we still bring it up like, yo, but did Faith do it? Like, we still really talk about that. So if you're going to, please make sure it's not someone that I'm connected to, so that now I have to hear this shit.
Well, that's why I say watch what you're liking too, because it can start. It's a trickle effect. So, yeah.
I mean,
better safe than sorry, I suppose. I respect what you're saying. It to some extent, it makes me question trust, right? Is it easier to limit someone from doing something altogether, or saying you can do something and I trust that it's not going to go to the next level? Now, the thing is, on one hand, you're completely eliminating any issues from happening in your approach. In the other approach, you're making it that person's freedom and decision to do or not to do, but you are exposed to a slippery slope. In my experiences with relationships is when I tried, and I just got off the phone with a friend earlier, and I was telling him, yo, don't try and limit what she's doing. Because if you try and limit what she's doing, she's then going to even want more space away from you.
100%.
When someone asks for that space, like, hey, when they check you and you keep pushing, that's the biggest turnoff, I think, for men or women alike. Because now you feel like, hey, I'm losing my sense of freedom and I want my freedom.
We're trying to convince you to let us like other girls'
let us
pictures.
like the photos.
Let me like those photos. That's what we're trying to let you explain. Like, let me like them photos.
A photo, but just don't like a photo that is like that. Because in some capacity, you're trying to get that person's attention.
I mean, I tried
don't like it. If you want to like something, like when she posts her little spiritual quotes, like that shit.
Look, I don't know
if that's what you want to like. If you want to like something,
I can't say that your point is wrong, Teron.
Because if
it's wrong.
A greased up chest or a nigga with Calvin Klein underwear on and his dick's rock hard, are you gonna? And you're my dude. Would you like me liking that?
Yeah, because if I was dating someone and she was liking the game's boxer photos, I would feel very small.
Exactly. So let's just respect each other. It's all about respect.
It is about respect.
Boundaries.
Is that the biggest thing in an industry relationship? It's about respect.
It's about respect and boundaries. I mean, yeah, people flirt. We're all going to flirt. That's fine, because I flirt. So if you want to flirt, flirt. But don't do the shit in front of my face. Don't do it online. Just have respect.
Respect, and that's some bars. See, we heard it all from the source itself. Torrei, thank you so much for being on the show. Where can people find you if you want to be found?
Torrei Hart, TORREIHART is TorreiHart.com. Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Torrei_Hart.
I love it. I love it so much. Thank you so much for being on the show. I'll definitely have you on one of my shows. And find me, please, at I Am Tehran all across the board at IAMTEHRAN. I Am Tehran on Instagram and the tweet. And, of course, alongside
Mr. GK, find me at Mr. George Corey Tehran. Spell the last name for
That's
him,
KHOURI. He has a sick obsession with that. And we are Imperfect Gentlemen. Remember, nobody's perfect but us. We'll see you guys next week. What up?
You're dope.